Get Ripple, the bright new drink with that ring-a-ding flavor. Ripple.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to back to a regular episode.
We had 2 weeks of live episodes from the podcast convention.
It was really stressful.
It was so fun.
It was really fun.
It was Pod VCOM, now rebranded to the Podcasters Collective, which I like. I think is very fancy sounding.
Yeah,
Probably
it
why
sounds professional.
We shouldn't be on it.
It sounds like something you could actually put on a resume.
I'm a member of the Podcasters Collective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was a little awkward, I will say that, because I don't think we really quite knew how the format would go when our storytellers were telling their story. And it ended up being like really casual and conversational. And I wanted to like stop and talk about like every little point that they made, but at the same time I didn't want to interrupt. But it was fun. It was a good time.
Really fun. I've actually had 2 listeners reach out and say that they want to participate when we do that again.
Yeah, that would be a good time.
People have stories they want to tell.
Yeah, I want to listen to stories.
I love listening to stories. Speaking of stories, I was in Big Bear over the
Weekend.
4 days. Yeah.
By the way, you're Rosa and I'm Angela.
Oh, and this is the Ripple podcast.
Yeah. So anyway, you were in Big Bear.
And I got you some presents.
Oh, I love presents.
I
You know what I love more than stories? Presents.
So this is the first present.
Ooh, sisters coffee.
And we're sisters. Angela and Rosa, sisters.
Yum. I love coffee. I'm super excited. And I got to smell it. It smells like mothballs. Why does it smell like mothballs?
Smell it through the smelly hole.
Okay, let me find the smelly hole really
It's at
quick.
the top.
Oh.
Does it smell like coffee now?
Yeah, now it smells like coffee.
Maybe it's from the plastic bag I was carrying it
It
in.
probably was. It smells great. Are these whole beans?
They are whole, so you have to
Nice.
crunch them yourself.
Awesome. Okay, so the Sisters Coffee is from Oregon.
I know. I was hoping you weren't going to notice that. I went to this super cute little coffee shop in Big Bear, and it was like a little mom and pop place, and I got this amazing coffee, and then I see all these Sisters coffee bags on the wall, and I'm like, oh, I'm totally going to get one of those for my sister. I buy it, and it wasn't cheap coffee. And then I read the package as I'm getting in the car. And I'm like, oh, are you kidding me?
I mean, it looks super fancy. It looks very artisanal. It has notes of dark chocolate, roasted almond, and tobacco, which is exactly what I want first thing in the morning. So
what's that? What's her name? Coffee and Nicotine song.
I don't know.
Alanis Morissette.
It sounds like a
morning dump.
explosive diarrhea recipe.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, that looks good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And then the next thing has nothing to do with Big Bear or the weekend, but it's because I went shopping at grocery outlet, not sponsored.
Should be a sponsor as much as we talk about them.
Cashew butter.
Ooh.
Read those flavors.
Okay, so Nutty Infusions, ginger wasabi. Interesting. And mango chili.
And I don't really know what you do with these.
You eat them.
But, would you put this on like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Maybe.
Ginger wasabi and a peanut butter and jelly?
I have no idea.
I don't know, but I couldn't not get them.
I'm the same way. Any kind of weird, funky flavors, I need to try them.
Uh-huh. I may have opened the ginger wasabi already.
I want to see.
Because I wanted to try it. I didn't open the other one yet.
What did you think about it? Oh, shit. I just spilled cashew oil all over me. And nut butter all over my leg.
And nutted on your leg.
Oh, wow. It smells really wasabi-y.
We should be doing this on
camera.
camera.
Oh, my God.
What do you feel about that?
It's so weird.
Because you're getting all the flavors, right?
Yeah. It's like creamy.
Gingery.
But burns.
Because I love the almonds, the wasabi almonds.
Oh, yeah.
From, I don't know, whoever makes those. They're so, so good. But I wasn't real sure. Do you want to open this one just for fun?
Sure, why not?
Oh, Ashes says I would like to try that.
Oh, Ashes is here. She's visiting in the pod closet.
She's the pod pup for tonight.
It needs to be stirred. That's like the first problem. It's like got a ½ inch of oil on top, but let's go for it.
This is the mango chili, Nutty Creations.
I like that one better.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Mango chili. I love mango chili.
Me too. Trader Joe's, the dried mangoes covered in chili. Oh, my God, those are good.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, now I have, like, oily cashew
Fingers?
all over me.
Well, wash it down with the drink that our brother made us. Oh, speaking of the whole sisters and stuff.
I'm just going to let Ashes lick my hands really fast.
Trish from Gen X, the other podcast.
Yeah, I know Trish.
She wants to have us as guests on her show.
Oh.
Because we're 10 years apart and she does the Gen X podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So she kind of wants to talk about, the similarities and differences that we have as sisters and a decade apart.
Okay.
So I'm throwing that.
You're putting me on the spot. You're like, this is what you're going to do now.
This is what we're doing. And then our listeners can listen to her show and,
learn more about
us. Because, who doesn't want to know about us?
Okay.
Okay, last present. I ordered this back before February.
January.
Well, yeah, sure. Maybe late January. And it finally came, and she actually sent us an extra because it took so long. So this is the one I specifically ordered for us.
Oh, it says it's okay. It's a drawing. Is this like a hand drawn?
Yeah,
sort of thing.
She's I follow her on Instagram. I'll put her Instagram name in our show notes. It's like Emmy Boz or something like that. She's an amazing artist.
Yeah, it's almost like
Caroline.
Yes, like Caroline style of these two cute like little I'm assuming sisters that are like.
I think it's the Pulp Fiction people.
Oh, you're totally right. It is Pulp Fiction.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's like two little animated Pulp Fiction cute little characters. And it says, I love being weird with you.
So I think we need to put this on our wall behind us.
Yes.
Isn't that so cute?
It's really cute.
And then she sent us, this one as well.
Ooh.
Right? So cool.
So this one it's a skeleton holding a heart that has been stitched and Band-Aid back together. And it says, I know I'm not perfect, but I got a big heart.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Her Instagram page is amazing. Amazing. So we'll post these on our Instagram and then tag her, and then any of our followers can follow her too because she's rad.
Sweet.
So cool. So those are all my little presents.
Okay. Well, I did notice today when we sat down, and I didn't mention it until we started recording, but this is the second time that we have simultaneously swapped hair colors since we started this podcast.
I was wondering why I didn't say anything about my hair.
I was waiting, which is what I did last time when this happened.
I thought you were gonna do the whole thumper. Like, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Do you even know me? No. Okay. No, I wanted to wait until we started recording because I thought it was so funny. So when we first started recording, I had
red hair.
No, you had red hair. I had blonde hair.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
And then we switched. And we switched like at the same time.
Without telling
each other. You went like
platinum.
Yeah. Right. And then I went really, really red.
Dark.
And now we both sat down. And since last week, so I had red hair last week.
And I had blonde.
Now I'm blonde. And Rosa has red hair this week.
Yep.
That's creepy.
I did Overtone, not sponsored.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I love Overtone.
Yeah, another promo code Ripple.
Right?
Try it. See what happens.
Maybe if enough people do it, they might look into it. Okay.
You want to tell me a story?
Yeah. So
this is, again, like Angela said, she's Angela, I'm Rosa. This is the Ripple Podcast. We tell you strange and unusual stories, and then the ripples they create. Each week we go visit another spot on a map where we have listeners. We cover all the United States and then the countries where we have listeners. Tonight we are going to
Hawaii.
Woo woo. And we also have 5 different themes that we pick out of a little hat, jar, bucket, basket.
Which I never remember what our 5 themes are. Can you, Sam?
Conspiracy theories, true crime, medical oddities, strange history, paranormal.
Good job. I've never been able to do that. I
I'm
don't know
surprised I did it. We need to have that written somewhere.
Yeah,
because,
we do.
I mean, it's 5 things. We should be able to remember. We're also drinking a really fun drink that our brother made us. Mine has a peep in it because it's almost Easter. Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter. I have a Topo Chico. It's delicious. It's my favorite kind of
Bubbly water.
bubbly water. It has the soft bubbles. What? Why is that so funny? I love Topo Chico. It's bomb.
It is great.
Okay.
All right, tell me your story.
I pulled out of the basket the topic true crime last time, and we actually lost our basket for our locations last time. So Rosa just had to randomly pick one, and she picked Hawaii.
Because that's my favorite place.
Okay, awesome. Because I have a question for you.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of a chicken skin story?
Chicken skin?
Mm-hmm.
No. Like the skin of a chicken?
Like the skin of a chicken.
No, I don't even eat the skin of a chicken.
Well, it has nothing to do with eating chickens.
Mm-mm.
All right. So I found out, based off of reading a ton of Facebook comments and Reddit posts, that a chicken skin story in Hawaii is an urban legend
Oh.
because it gives you goosebumps.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
But they call it chicken skin.
That's so funny.
Isn't that weird?
I mean,
doesn't that like make way more sense than goosebumps?
Yeah, because chicken skin is like that bumpy kind of.
Yeah.
I wonder where goosebumps comes from.
I have no idea.
You didn't look that up?
I did not.
You're not going to tell me the history of goosebumps.
No, I'm not going to tell you the history of Goosebumps, but I am going to tell you the history of a place called, I don't know why I said it like that. I'm going to tell you about McKinley High School.
Oh, I was really hoping it was going to be some Hawaiian name that you were going to struggle with.
Oh, I got off so easy because there's only like maybe one kind of fairly not really difficult Hawaiian name in this entire story. So I don't know how I got so lucky, but I will say that I had so much trouble trying to find out information about this story. I found like one little news clip and I was like, okay, I'm in. That is the story I'm going to cover. And then I had to like dig through freaking Facebook posts and like just random community forums and all kinds of stuff to try to piece together this thing because there is not a lot of information out there.
I wonder if that's maybe like the Hawaiian culture, that they're more like not as open or something. Like where Florida, like it's like the floodgates are open whenever there's anything going on. Everyone talks about it. Everyone posts about it. There's every news story. But remember when we did the missing hiker from Hawaii?
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a lot of information either. Do you think that's a cultural thing?
I have no idea.
They're
I've never
more
been
private.
to Hawaii. You would know more than I would. Well, I know too, like, okay, so in Florida, the reason why there's so much out there about all kinds of crazy shit that happens in Florida is because all of their arrests and police records and everything are like public
information. Mm-hmm.
So, which is kind of crazy to think about because that sort of crazy shit is probably happening all over the country.
We just don't know about it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Florida.
yeah, we need to cover more Florida stories.
Okay, tell me about Hawaii.
Okay, so we're talking about McKinley High School in Honolulu, Hawaii. All right. So it was established way back in 1865 and is one of the oldest schools in the state, which puts...
Try again.
I eat too much peanut butter. It's on the National Register for Historic Places, and it currently has 1,583 students. So it's like a pretty big high school.
I don't know how many were in our high school.
I looked it up because I was kind of curious. So Rio Mesa right now has about 2,000.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's probably more than when we were there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
pretty
about the
big
same
place.
as us. Mm-hmm.
It like I looked up pictures of it and it looks like that movie type high school, like big pillars, big halls, like just old timey looking, like the high school like on Clueless or whatever,
like the main entrance everyone goes through.
And some of the very distinguished graduates we have are a lot of people that I don't know, but The Rock graduated from McKinley High School.
I like him.
So there's that. So Rosa, when you were going to high school, did you have any chicken skin stories or urban legends that were talked about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you remember
There
any
was
of them?
There was La Lorena.
Okay, I thought you were going to say that.
From Rose Avenue, the lady in white.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably the main. I mean, obviously we did the whole like Bloody Mary and, you know.
Yeah, which
I don't think that's necessarily an urban legend. That's more of like a a creepy pasta type thing.
No, I guess they're kind of the same thing.
But the local urban legend everyone talked about was La Reina.
No, it's funny that you say that because I looked up La Reina when I was researching this because I wanted to like compare to our local high school story. You know that that's from Venezuela.
La Reina?
Uh-huh.
So did she move here?
Maybe, yeah, just on the waterways. She just kind of ghostly floated across.
Sure.
So at McKinley High School, the urban legend or the chicken skin story goes like this. So if you're walking the halls at night, you will hear the screams of a young student being attacked. She screams for help, but nobody is there. The sound seems to be coming from the English building or the W building on campus.
Okay.
In the girls' bathroom, lights can be seen switching on and off, even when the restroom is locked up for the night. All right?
Just the girls' restroom.
Just the girls' restroom.
Okay.
Some say that they can see her reflection in the windows and mirrors, but when they look behind them, no one is there.
That's creepy.
Many students refuse to even use that restroom in the building for fear of it being haunted.
Whoa. I would totally go to that bathroom because no one would ever be in there.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? Those who have say that it's eerily dark and quiet. They could sense the presence of someone else in the room, even when they were completely alone. Rumor has it, the screaming girl was murdered in the building, but her killer got away. She continues to roam the halls every night until her murderer is caught.
Does she have a name?
I don't know if in this chicken skin story she has a name or if she's just the murdered girl in the hallway. But this story has been passed down from class to class for ages, and every year new students sneak onto campus at night in hopes to see the ghost student. However, many students didn't know that this was actually way more than just a chicken skin story. This was a true story about a murdered girl back in 1977.
Oh, so there was some history of an actual girl that was murdered.
This was a true story.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the story of Dawn Momohara.
Okay.
And that's the hardest name I have to say in this entire story.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. So Dawn was only 16 years old. She was a junior at McKinley High School in 1977. And on the evening of March 20th, which was just a few days ago.
Oh.
But back in 1977.
Sure.
She had plans to meet up with her friends at the Ala Moana Shopping Center.
Ala Moana?
Yes. The Ala Moana Shopping Center.
I got
Thank you. Maybe that's the hardest name I have to say in this whole thing. So she put on her green floral print muumuu and slippers, which I assume are sandals. Yeah?
They're flip-flops.
Okay. Good to know.
Look at me knowing my Hawaiian.
That's why you picked this state. And she let her mom know that she was leaving. So she ended up walking to the shopping center, which I did my investigative research, and I pulled up her house and I pulled up the shopping center on Google Earth, and it was only about a mile away. So like, I don't know, 15-minute walk or so.
Easy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So super close by. And between her house and the shopping center, according to Google Earth, about a block to the east is McKinley High School.
Okay.
So it's like bam, 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 like all those places all right there. Okay. So once it got dark, Dawn's mother started to worry about her daughter because she hadn't arrived back and she was supposed to be back home for dinner. And by 10:38, she was obviously super concerned and she called the police. Mm-hmm. So Honolulu police quickly launched a search and contacted Dawn's friends, the friends she was supposed to meet up with at the mall. Mm-hmm. And they started looking for her.
So this is in the late 70s.
Right.
So no cell phones. There's
Nothing
no
like
way to
And she's
track
only
her.
She's just a few minutes down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So they start looking for her. They question the friends. They come up empty. Nothing. They couldn't find her anywhere. They had no leads. So at 7:25 the next morning, which, by the way, March 20th was a Sunday. So this is Monday morning, 7:25.
Okay. She hasn't even been missing 24 hours yet.
Right.
Okay.
A teacher arrived to McKinley High School. And that teacher was an English teacher, and she went up to her classroom, and as she climbed the stairs, she found Dawn's body. So Dawn was found between the stairs and the women's restroom.
By the W building, I'm assuming.
In the W building. Yeah, in the English building next to classroom 223 beside the second floor bathroom, which I already said. And her green muumuu had been pulled over her head. So her body was transported to the city medical examiner's office for autopsy, and they had revealed that Dawn was sexually assaulted and strangled to death. Okay. So how did she get into the building?
Oh, because it was locked?
Well, okay, that was like one of the major questions at the very beginning of this, but this building, much like probably a lot of our high schools here in California, is kind of an open corridor building. So the hallways themselves don't have doors.
Yeah,
it's just the individual classrooms that are locked. So we know that they didn't need any sort of special entrance to get where she was. If that makes sense.
Was there a door to get into the main campus?
No,
because
don't.
Like a lot of, again, like California, and maybe other areas too, probably, but there's, what's called like open campus. Like our high school, back when we were there, we could leave when we wanted to. We weren't like locked in like they are now. Now it's more like a jail.
Yeah. I'm thinking you're speaking for yourself, because when I was in high school, it was definitely not open campus. You could not leave when you wanted to.
Oh, well, I mean, we weren't supposed to.
Oh, yeah. Well,
but we were able to.
Well, they're not like locking you in.
But they are now. It's locked. They have like gates with locks on them.
Oh, that seems dangerous in case of emergencies.
No, it's locked. They lock.
Do they really?
Yes.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this was a Sunday too, so we're not talking about class being in session. And I imagine that like a lot of schools around here, it was probably open. They might have like part of it fenced, but people use school campuses all the time on the weekends to like use it as a park or go run around the track or whatever. So
skateboarding.
I don't know. It was fairly easy to get in. It was accessible, according to investigators. So they questioned the friends, and I could not find, I'll go back later and talk about the friends, but on any of the official reports, like from the Honolulu Police Department website, they don't talk about what the friends said. So they just say that they talked to the friends and there was no leads there.
Okay.
So they start asking other people that were in the area at that time if they saw anything suspicious, if they saw anybody suspicious, what was going on in that area, because she had such a short area to travel. So it's kind of like, I don't know if you remember now because it's been a few weeks ago, when I talked about Colorado with Helena. She was only a mile from the bus stop to her aunt's house.
Right.
Her aunt's house.
Yeah, you said aunt. You've never said that before other than this podcast. It's aunt.
Okay, so she was going to her aunt's house, but yeah, it was only a mile away.
But isn't that like a statistic? Like most accidents or crimes or whatever happen within like 2 miles from your home. Have you heard that before?
I think that's car accidents because you're not paying attention because you're so used to that area when you're driving.
Oh.
I don't know.
I thought it was just like accidents.
I don't know, but this certainly wasn't an accident. This was definitely very purposeful.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. So, where was my spot? Okay, so police didn't reveal very much to the public. But they did reveal one little piece of information, and it was a witness who had told the police that they saw a man leaving the school the day before. So this would have been when Dawn was going to the mall. So that would have been Sunday night. And this witness believed that this man who was on campus had dark hair about shoulder length, and he was about 5'5", between 5'5" and 5'7", and had a slim build. And they did a sketch of this man.
Okay, those aren't very descriptive descriptions.
No, not at all. But they also saw a vehicle that he got into, which was in the parking lot alongside the building.
Okay.
And this vehicle was described as a 2-door 1974 or 75 Pontiac Le Mans with a maroon bottom and a white vinyl top.
I used to have a Pontiac that was maroon.
This looks nothing like your Pontiac.
Okay.
Did you have a maroon Pontiac?
No.
I thought you had a silver Pontiac.
I had I had a silver Pontiac and I had
a red
Pontiac. I had a maroon Volkswagen.
Oh.
With a white top.
And then police went ahead and released a sketch of the man, which I said, and a sketch of the vehicle. And you would think, and I don't know because I've never been to Hawaii, but it is a freaking island. And I would think that every car that's on that island, there's a record of, right? Isn't that how states work? Car registrations? Like what?
Well, and I would think with Hawaii too, the only way to really get a vehicle on the island is by like ferry or, you know, especially back in the 70s, you know, they were like boated in. You don't just drive it from another state.
Yeah, that's usually how islands work for the most part.
Right.
But yeah, but nothing came of it, which is the weird thing. So I don't know what happened in that situation. Like, how could they not track down that car and clear this person?
Yeah, that's strange. Unless the person's describing the car was like totally off.
Well, that's one theory
Okay.
that we'll get to. So just a year ago, Honolulu Police Department relaunched an investigation into this case in hopes that it would finally be solved.
What's that, like 45 years later?
You're really close. It was 44 years after Dawn's murder. So they reached out to the media and they re-released the sketches with the person of interest and the vehicle with Dawn's story in hopes that somebody will remember something and come forward.
Why? Why 44 years later?
That was my very question.
Okay.
And this is when I had to start doing my web sleuthing.
Do it.
Okay. So, theory number 1 of investigator Angela. I think that maybe they have DNA now.
Like what we were talking about.
Like what we were talking about in the Colorado case. I am thinking and I'm hoping and I am praying that they were able to collect DNA from Dawn's body and they're now trying to get people interested and talking and have some sort of familial connection so that they could put this guy away.
That's awesome.
That's what I'm thinking,
That's
right?
a great
like,
theory.
why else would they reopen this case after so long? So another thing that I found out is this guy on Facebook who was talking about the vehicle and looking at the sketch and the description and everything. And he's like some supercar guy. And he's like, no, that's an Oldsmobile.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
that's really funny because when you were saying like, oh, someone saw this man in a 1970 whatever through 70 whatever, what did you say, Pontiac? I don't know a thing about cars, nothing. And unless I'm looking at a Mercedes symbol, I can't recognize one car from another, and especially the years. I don't know. Like I could do color. And I can do...
That's about as much as I can do.
Like car and truck.
Car, truck, SUV.
Minivan, motorcycle.
Yeah, basically. That's the extent of my knowledge as well. So I'm going to show you a picture really quick. And this is like the great thing. Okay, we talk about all the time about how social media is fucking toxic and it's just like a waste of time and it makes you feel depressed and all this stuff. This is one of the times where social media does something good because they put this whole story out on Facebook and that's when the Honolulu people started talking.
Love it.
Okay, so let me show you this picture really quick. And this car dude is like, the reason that they didn't find a 1974 or 75 Pontiac on the registry or whatever they use in Hawaii, car registration, is because it wasn't a Pontiac. Okay, so Rosa, I am going to show you my expert web sleuthing abilities. And this is like a little string of Facebook comments when people are discussing the car that the police released a sketch of, okay?
Okay.
So go ahead and read that and kind of describe it.
Okay, so
You don't have to say their name.
okay. So this one person says car looks like a 1975 Oldsmobile 442. And then someone else puts a photo of a 1975 Le Mans.
Yeah, so that's the car that the police think it was.
Okay, here's a Le Mans. And then she said, this other girl says, maybe they never found the car because they were looking for the wrong model. And there's a bunch of different cars here.
So the top picture is the Pontiac, which is what police believed it was based off of the witness. And if you look at the bottom picture, that's the Oldsmobile. So could you tell those two cars apart?
I wouldn't have a clue.
I would think they're all the same car. Look at how similar they are.
I would say it looks like a 1975 Mustang Fastback.
But I mean, that's just like one little aspect of this case that I think that now that police are bringing it back into the forefront and media is talking about it and people are talking about it again, these are the little aspects that might help solve it.
Well, yeah, they're very, crazy similar looking, with the whole white top kind of angle. And unless you're like a super car person, who would know that?
So do you remember how I said earlier that the police really didn't give that much information out? And they did say that they questioned her friends that she was supposed to meet up with at the mall, but you couldn't really find out any information about that. They weren't releasing it to the public.
Or even like who her friends were.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But they revealed themselves on Facebook.
The friends.
Yes.
Okay.
So, take this with a grain of salt because people lie about shit on Facebook all the time.
Just for attention.
Right. And I'm not going to say their names because I'm just not going to say their names. If you want to go look it up, you can. But here are some quotes about other things that can kind of give us a little bit of an idea of what could have happened that night.
Okay.
What?
Well, maybe I'll say this, but what do her friends think happened? Do you kind of say that here?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So my first question when I was reading this story is, did she even go to the mall?
Did she even make it there?
Did she even make it to the mall? That was my very first question. Or was she even planning on meeting up with these friends at the mall? Because she could have. I don't know. I've definitely lied to my parents when I was in high school about who I was going to see and where I was going. So maybe she met up with somebody like a boyfriend or somebody who was going to take her out that night. I don't know. Maybe she met up with somebody at the school instead of going to meet up with her friends and had some little like rendezvous that went wrong.
Sure.
Or the possibility too is maybe she was going to meet up with her friends and she never made it to the mall and she ran into somebody along the way. So according to Facebook, some of the friends that were supposed to meet up with her that night at the mall did, in fact, meet up with her at the mall.
Oh, they actually saw her.
They were there. They met up. And then the mall actually on Sunday nights closed at 5 p.m. So it was still light out. And she was supposed to be home for dinner. So after the mall had closed down, they had all gone their separate ways. And they assumed that Dawn was just going to go home.
Yeah. Why would you question it? If everyone is going home... Like, okay, we did our shopping and whatever, hanging out. Now I go right, you go left, and, somebody else goes straight. That's the way we go home.
Exactly. And they didn't have any thought that she would have met up with somebody. And they thought if she was going to meet up with somebody, she would have definitely let them know.
Yeah.
And they also said Dawn was super shy. She wouldn't have gone with the stranger. She wouldn't have just like spontaneously... oh, I'm a friendly person. I'm going to go hang out with this new guy or whatever. They said she was going to go home. She didn't hang out with like the party crowd or anything like that. She was very shy. She was very studious. She kind of kept to herself, but she had her close friends. So,
well, and if those are your close friends, no matter what kind of secrets you have, most people, and I shouldn't say everyone, but most people like tell one person. There's always that one person that you tell everything to, no matter how big of a secret is or whatever.
For sure.
So if she has this secret boyfriend, secret boy, whoever she's going to meet up with, you would think some of her best friends would know, especially if they had just been hanging out all day, and like she's going to get all cute or whatever and get all excited to go meet this person. You would think it would slip somewhere in the day.
Yeah.
So I'm going with that she was met with some bad person on the way home.
I totally agree. The more I read comments about her, the more I believed them, because they kind of all seemed to have the same kind of depiction of her. Everybody kind of described her as she was really sweet, but she was really shy. She wasn't one to run with the fast crowd. She was very studious. She had great grades. She was just she had her little crew. And that was that. She wasn't the person that was going to go be spontaneous and be like, oh, let's go, explore the freaking campus at night. So the more I read about it, the more it sounded so much like the other case that I covered a few weeks back about Helena in Colorado. She could have easily been walking down a sidewalk and somebody opened up a door just like they did with Helena and grabbed her. Because they don't know if she would necessarily walked into the high school on her own free will, or if she was taken there against her will, or even after her death. Which makes me think that it was someone possibly familiar with the high school, maybe that was currently attending or had attended, in the past. For sure. I definitely think that is the case. Because, if, I don't know, how would you even know how to get into the high school and where, I don't know, I want to say a hiding spot. No, you're exactly right. Someplace that's going to be kind of concealed away from the public, that you're going to be. Yeah, no, I totally think that it was somebody who knew they were familiar with that high school. Right. But like I said at the beginning, every year they had, close to 1,500, actually more than 1,500 students there. So that is a lot of people. And they could have been a graduate. They could have been. Yeah. But you cut that in half, say 50-50 men, women. Mm-hmm. Still, that's what? 750 a year. Look at me doing math. I'm really impressed. This is your second math question of the night. It's this drink. It's really making me smart. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it could have been a professor or teacher. Yeah. Or a janitor, or, just a staff member. Yeah. Yeah. It's really sad and really crazy. And I don't know. And the other thing too about this guy with the slender build, with his Pontiac or Oldsmobile or whatever he had, I almost wonder if he had nothing to do with it, because that seems very obvious. That kind of a car? No, not necessarily that kind of car. Just that person being on campus on a Sunday evening. They didn't necessarily say when they saw this person, but I would think that I almost think that whoever did this to her would have been more discreet, than a guy just walking through campus and parking his car right next to it. Mm-hmm. Or maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe it totally is the guy. It's a Sunday night. And what time was this approximately? We don't know. So they didn't say that, and that was one thing that was really driving me crazy too, is that the police didn't say when this witness saw the car and the person. And that's a pretty big time frame. So she probably left the mall, according to her friends, when it closed, which was 5 p.m. Mm-hmm. She wasn't found until 7:25 in the morning the following day. And mom reported her huge window. Around 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just think, again, I'm thinking high school and going to random parking lots or whatever with your friends and doing stuff you're not supposed to be doing. If you have a friend with a car, there was always somewhere to go. So yeah. This person's car, I'm agreeing with you, thinking maybe they didn't have anything to do with it. Maybe it was just some random high school person taking advantage of a big parking lot. Yeah. It could be. But maybe he saw something. So who knows? So my final Angela investigation that is totally probably not true at all, but it kind of seems slightly familiar, and I want to connect it to this story anyway, because this is just my far out there speculation. Have you heard of the Honolulu Strangler? No. Okay. Should I have? Is that a famous It was a case that I was considering covering for tonight, but once I searched it, like I found out a bunch of podcasts have already done it. Because it was the very first Hawaiian serial killer.
Okay. I'm surprised I don't know this one then.
So let me pull out the giant like bulletin board and connect all of my little lines, because I think that maybe Dawn was the first victim of the Honolulu Strangler.
So what years was the Honolulu Strangler active?
So the Honolulu Strangler was active between 1985 and 1986.
So that would be totally doable.
Right. So that would have been how many years after Dawn's death?
10.
8.
Okay.
So follow me here. So what if Dawn was the very first victim, and they're like serial killers do have like a cooling out period, and maybe this killer was like, holy shit, I finally killed somebody, and years later continued to kill.
Yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't connect.
Well, here's why it wouldn't connect.
Oh.
Because it's not official, because technically the Honolulu serial killer has never been caught. But police, well, I shouldn't say police, but a lot of people speculate that the Honolulu serial killer was Howard Andrew Gay. And he was an American serial rapist and considered possibly the Honolulu serial killer.
Okay, well, that fits in with Dawn because she was raped.
Right. Yeah.
And strangled.
So the Honolulu serial killer he bound his victims behind their back, and he raped and killed them.
Okay.
Dawn did not have her hands bound, but she was in fact raped and killed in the same area, slightly before the time of the Honolulu serial killer. But if Howard Andrew Gay really was the Honolulu serial killer, he wasn't in Hawaii in 1977. So that's where there is a little bit of gap. At least he didn't live there. Maybe he was there. Maybe he was there on work. I don't know. That information isn't readily available.
Is he from another island?
No, he's from California.
Oh, way to go, California.
Yeah. You're welcome, Hawaii.
Oh.
But I just wonder, and the other thing is, so it's kind of like a common belief that this was the actual guy who was the serial killer, even though he was never tried or convicted. All of the evidence that was against him was circumstantial evidence. So they really couldn't prove that he did it, which is like super frustrating. And if you want to hear more about that, you have to go listen to another podcast like Moms and Murder or something. They covered it. And there was like all of this circumstantial evidence that was like, okay, this is our guy. He is into this fetish where he likes to tie people up. He was really unhappy when his wife from the mainland came to visit him. Like all of these different things where they're like, oh, maybe it's him. Maybe it's him. I guess he was like a major asshole. And they're like, hey, he could be a serial killer. But they never proved that it was in fact him. So, 2 theories. 1, it was him, and he could have killed Dawn when maybe he was visiting for work.
Yeah.
2, it wasn't him, but he was also never the Honolulu serial killer, and maybe the Honolulu serial killer also killed Dawn. Does that make any sense at all?
Absolutely.
I feel like
Wait, so this guy, he had visited Hawaii before.
Yes, I just don't know when.
But isn't that something that people should have records of? Or did they...
Well, I'm sure they do. I just don't.
Well, I hate unsolved cases.
Yeah, and I always bring you the unsolved cases.
That's okay, because I'm going to solve them all.
See, I was going to solve it. I'm like, it's the Honolulu serial killer. Obviously, how come nobody put this together before?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he didn't live there in 1977.
But it doesn't matter. If he was making frequent trips... And he didn't go to that high school?
No.
Because he was in California.
I think he was quite a bit older than them.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, good story. I mean, not good story, but interesting story.
Mm-hmm.
It's one I definitely have not heard before.
There's hardly any information. It's crazy because it's such like like I said, it is an urban legend there. It's a chicken skin story. But
we need to put that on one of our shirts.
A chicken skin story?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love that saying.
So I kind of wanted to end this with another Facebook quote.
Do it.
And this was, again, by a Facebook user who I'm not going to name names because I didn't ask them if they wanted to be on this podcast, but this was a friend of Dawn's. And Facebook user says, Dawn was a good friend of mine. She had a beautiful smile. I miss her every day. So many pictures of us goofing off and laughing. She had a cute, shy giggle. She was very, very shy and also a straight-A student. I hope the person who murdered her is still alive so that we can find him and prosecute him to the full extent of the law and serve justice. He stole our friend. He would be about 61 years old now, still living in Honolulu. Farrington High grad. Rumors are that he is a fisherman.
Whoa.
I don't know. Let the family know that justice will finally be served.
Huh. So there's people that know stuff.
So there's people who know stuff, and there's people who have a pretty good idea of who they think this person is. And just like you said at the very beginning, I think that there's a lot of island talk.
Mm-hmm.
And with Facebook and other forms of social media, I think that slowly police will put together these pieces and figure out who this person is.
What's that called? The Coconut Express? Like the...
Oh, is that a thing?
Uh-huh. Well,
I mean,
don't know.
I've never heard of it before, but just saying that like makes total sense.
Kind of like back to the beginning. So when we were in Big Bear, because I went with my friend Shelly and her son, Shelly is like, I'm going to take you to this place called Tropicali Local.
Mm.
And she's like, you're going to love it. It's totally your style. And obviously, you know, restaurants and stuff have changed since COVID.
Oh, for sure.
But this place, this Tropicali Local, is was opened by this guy and his wife. And his wife is one of the actresses from Blue Crush. Remember that movie?
I loved that movie.
Me too.
I had the entire soundtrack downloaded onto my very first mini iPod.
Did you take it from Napster?
No, I think it was LimeWire, actually.
Oh, there you go.
It probably was.
But when you go and order, the guys working they totally talk like the islands, like, oh, aloha. And it's not like fake. It's legit talk.
I totally know what you mean because there's like almost an accent to it. And my boss actually grew up in Hawaii. I actually have to ask him if he went to McKinley High School. But when he tells me about stories on the island, I don't know if he does it on purpose or not, but like the cadence of his voice
transitions
changes into like this island talk. Mm-hmm. And he uses like this island slang and stuff. And he still has like a lot of really close bonds there and goes back every year and stuff. But
it's definitely
he's a howly.
Yeah. It's definitely a dialect. Would that be the right word?
I don't know. Why are you asking me?
But
I don't know.
There's a way that like
I think it's like an accent.
Yeah. I love it. I love it so much. But so that was kind of my tie-in with your story.
Yeah, I've never been. Maybe someday.
Maybe we'll do a live show on one of the islands.
Maybe we should go to McKinley High School
and solve this crime.
Yeah, I think what we need to do, because I spent all of 1 hour web sleuthing, and I found a lot of island gossip. But if we really put our heads together,
we can do this
and start social mediaing.
My best friend lives on the islands.
What does she know?
She can get us in.
What does she know?
She knows, or she can find out.
She's also a teacher. Connections. All right, get her talking.
Okay, Raina, we're coming for you.
All right.
Do you want to hear my last thought in a shot?
Yeah, let's hear it.
About Hawaii. Okay, I have a supernatural Hawaiian story for you.
Ooh.
So this is from a website called weirdhawaii.com. And it's kind of like what we did with our strange stories that people told us. People can go in and write their stories, kind of like a blog.
Okay.
And but it's all kinds of people just writing in their stories.
I love it.
So this story is called "I Need to Lie Down."
Me too. I feel like I say that at least once a day.
Once or twice or 3 times. So it starts out, it says, it was spring of 2007. I was 18 going on 19 that summer.
Hey, That's when I was that age, too.
Oh, maybe this is you writing the story.
I've never been to Hawaii.
And I was in my first semester at Kauai Community College. I was lying in bed asleep one night, nice and snug in my blankets. It was a cool spring night, nothing out of the ordinary, or so I thought. I lay in my bed sleeping until I was woken up by a woman's voice whispering, "I need to lie down." I thought it was my mom, and so I was about to reply, "Yeah, of course," but for some reason I wasn't able to open my mouth. I couldn't part my lips or anything. All of a sudden, I heard the woman's voice repeatedly saying, "I need to lie down. I need to lie down.
Oh,
I need to lie down."
And she has like sleep paralysis at the same time, it sounds like.
This person does, yeah. The woman sounded young, maybe in her 30s. It was even more strange given that the whole time I was hearing her voice, it sounded as though it was saying it over a radio frequency. The whole time I hear her voice, I was completely unable to move any part of my body. I wasn't able to move my fingers, my legs, nothing. I wasn't even able to take a deep breath of air. It was as though someone was on top of me, keeping me from making any sort of movement and restricting my breathing. This strange feeling lasted for what seemed like an eternity, but after what must have been a couple of minutes, I once again hear the woman's voice repeatedly saying, "I need to lie down. I need to lie down. I need to lie down." And just like that, I was able to move and breathe again. The minute I realized I was able to move again, I bolted out of my bed, burst into my parents' bedroom, and screamed, "Mom, Dad, the lady was in my room. The lady was in my room."
Wait, has she heard about this lady before?
I don't know. It says, my parents woke up, startled, and asked, "What lady?" My mom thought someone had broken into the house. I said, "No, there was a lady in my room, and she climbed into bed with me. I couldn't move or breathe." My dad calmed me down and went into the kitchen. He grabbed a small Ziploc bag and filled it with Hawaiian salt and told me to keep it next to my bed. He said it would protect me from spirits. I did just as he instructed me to do. We all returned to bed, and at first I wasn't able to fall back asleep, but after about half an hour, I was asleep again. I woke up in the morning wondering if I had dreamt it all, but I knew that it really happened. I did indeed have a supernatural visitor in the middle of the night.
Whoa. Okay, so I've heard of that before. Like, not obviously that specific story, but of an old woman coming into your bed and like compressing your chest, like sitting on your chest, laying on your chest, and it's always a woman. I've heard of an old woman, not a young woman, but it's always like some woman who comes in and like
the pressure.
Yeah, puts pressure on you. That's like a common thing.
I've heard of that too.
And that's really bizarre.
But I don't know, and like the stories that I've heard about the pressure, I don't remember having or hearing of someone hearing a voice. Like I feel like it's just like a presence.
Okay.
Like, and I've also heard the stories of like you see the indentation of a bed, like of
somebody sitting on the bed.
You hear the squeaking, like the you know, and you can see like there's someone sitting on a bed, but there's not anyone there.
Oh, that's super creepy.
Yeah.
I love it though. I want to hear more about
that. What do I get? I get chicken skin.
Chicken skin. I totally forgot actually. So I had a couple more quotes that from the Facebook web sleuthing that I did. And I don't know what happened to him. I guess I just left him off or something. Something happened. But anyway, there was one about Dawn. It was during a graduation ceremony, and one of the moms of the students went into the haunted bathroom that like none of the students went into because it was creepy as fuck. So she went in not knowing any of this and saw Dawn's reflection.
Oh, geez.
Like in the mirror.
And
turned around and nothing was there, and she ran out like screaming like, "What the hell was that?" And then later on heard about the story of Dawn, and she was like, that was the person who was in the bathroom.
Do you think, and I know you're the skeptic, but do you think that people that have been murdered or died, you know, not like of natural causes, are more to roam and not cross over than someone that maybe has died of natural causes?
Sure, why not? I mean, you know, I'm the skeptic, and my opinion is going to change every other day. But like, if you believe this urban legend, she wants her killer to be found. And I could see
absolutely,
if they have some sort of unfinished business, that's like the whole, how the story goes, is that they want something to happen in this life that they're no longer in. They want closure in some way. They have unfinished business.
Right.
So I could see that. Sure.
I think so. Because I mean, yeah.
Okay. That was very insightful.
You know, I don't really know where I'm going with that, or even why I asked that or thought of that. But I would just think that, yeah, someone that was, you know, went before it was their time would not feel like they were ready to cross over.
I think Dawn's pissed.
I would be pissed if I were Dawn.
I think she's pissed.
I think she has every right to be pissed.
She's super pissed that, like, this should have been an easy case to solve. There's not that many people. Well, I should take that back. I always think, like, oh, it's an island, but Honolulu is like one of the biggest cities.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's like LA.
But okay. But still, it seems like a very solvable case, right?
I mean,
and there's just not that much information out there.
I think the fact that it is an island is maybe giving it more of a sense of ease than it would be for a state that's connected to other states.
Yeah.
I mean, airplanes,
right,
boats,
people
can get on and off an island.
Right. He could have fled. That person could have gotten in a plane the next day and taken off.
Maybe he was a tourist.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he had nothing to do with that car. Maybe he was there on business and saw some girl and took advantage of her and then left to the mainland 2 days later.
That's very possible. I'm still thinking it's somebody who knew the high school, though.
I do too.
That's, your theory isn't out of the realm of possibilities. That's for sure. I don't know. Unsolved needs to cover it because there's not enough information out there.
Yeah. Good story, though.
Thanks.
Interesting.
Your turn to pick.
Okay. Let me get the basket. I am pulling. Oh, Australia.
Oh, we have listeners in Australia?
We have listeners. Well, we have a lot of listeners. Not a lot of listeners in Australia, but like maybe
we don't have a lot of listeners total. So,
but we have listeners in Australia, or maybe one like stumbled upon us.
Ashes, that's where you're from.
Oh, and my topic, Australia, is paranormal.
Oh,
Paranormal Australia. Do you know that my bucket list dream location is New Zealand, which is pretty close to Australia, I think.
Are you sure about that?
No, not really.
Are you sure about that?
I feel like it is, right?
Why is that your dream location?
New Zealand?
Yeah.
Because I like the Maori culture and like the dance and.
When are you going?
I don't know. You want to go with me?
Sure.
Okay. Maybe we can go to Hawaii first since you've never been there.
Okay.
And then we'll just go to Australia and New Zealand.
Okay.
When the world starts opening up again, we can go there because they're not letting us in right now.
No, nobody's letting us anywhere right now.
I have a friend whose mom and stepdad have been in New Zealand since COVID.
Holy shit. Were they on vacation and they got stuck there?
They were on vacation. They chose to stay there and come back.
Oh, because you come back and you're quarantined, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
How long have they been there?
Since COVID started.
And they still don't want to come back?
Well, mom wants to come back. Stepdad doesn't.
Oh, that's awkward.
Uh-huh.
Well, hope they like kiwis. That's New Zealand, right?
Uh-huh.
Kiwis? Okay.
But like the bird, not the fruit.
Not the fruit?
Maybe the fruit.
Probably the fruit.
I thought it was the bird.
Probably both.
Okay, fun fact.
I mean, maybe they named the bird after the fruit.
Because the bird kind of looks like the fruit.
Yeah. Are we solving mysteries right now?
The mystery of the
wow,
Wait,
is New Zealand? I don't even know if that's the thing. But yeah.
Is New Zealand close to Australia?
I was like, please cut this out. Yes, it is. It's off the coast of Australia.
Okay, so I was right.
Well, kind of. Like far away, but like close relatively.
We could do like a day trip.
I don't know.
All right. Well, until next week, we're going to find out some more stuff about Australia.
Or New Zealand or whatever you're talking about.
All right, don't forget to be a fountain.
Not a drain.
Bye.